Most people think intelligence looks like finishing things. Degrees on the wall, projects shipped, goals checked off. But that is not what the research says. The most intellectually alive people, the ones whose minds never stop moving, they do not finish everything. They cannot. Not because they are lazy, not because they lack discipline, but because their brain is built differently. It hungers for new ideas the way some people hunger for food. And that hunger, the one that made you start 17 things, is not your problem. It is your most underrated strength. Today we are going to talk about what your unfinished projects actually say about you. And I promise, by the end of this, you will never see yourself the same way again. From the very first day you understood anything, you were taught one rule. Start something. Finish something. Only then you are worth something. Your teachers measured you by completed assignments. Your parents celebrated finished things. Your bosses reward delivered projects. The world built an entire system around one idea. A person who finishes is a person who matters. And a person who leaves things behind is a person who cannot be trusted, cannot be relied on, cannot be taken seriously. Every unfinished thing became a verdict. Every abandoned idea became proof. Proof that something was wrong with you. But here is what that system never told you. It was designed for one type of mind. A mind that moves in straight lines. A mind that starts at point A and walks steadily to point B. Your mind was never that mind, and it was never supposed to be. So what kind of mind do you actually have? There are two kinds of minds in this world. The first kind moves in one direction. It takes a problem, finds a solution, and stops right there. Clean, efficient, and predictable. The world loves this mind. Schools were built for this mind. Offices run on this mind. The second kind cannot do that. It takes one problem and immediately sees 12 more inside it. It finds one answer and instantly questions whether that answer is even right. It starts walking toward point B and notices something far more interesting at point C, D, and F. This is called divergent thinking, and research consistently shows people who think this way make connections that linear thinkers simply cannot see. They do not just solve problems, they find problems nobody else noticed existed. Your unfinished projects are not evidence that you cannot commit. They are evidence that your mind kept finding better questions before the first one was fully answered. That is not a weakness. That is exactly how the most creative minds on this planet are wired. Here is what nobody ever explains. When you walk away from something, it does not disappear. It does not sit collecting dust somewhere. It does not die the moment you stop. It moves. It moves into the way you think. It moves into the way you solve problems. It moves into the way you see the world. The thing you started and never finished taught your hands something, taught your mind something, taught your instincts something. And when you started the next thing, you brought all of that with you. You just did not realize it was happening. Think about the person you were before you started any of those things, and think about the person you are right now. That distance between those two people, that is not empty space. That is everything you absorbed from every single thing you began. Every abandoned idea left something behind, not in a folder, not somewhere you can point to, inside you. And that is why the person with the longest list of unfinished projects often sees things that people with perfectly completed lives cannot see at all. You were not wasting time. You were building something nobody could see from the outside. There is a word for people like you, multipotentialite, a person whose mind refuses to be contained in one box, one skill, one identity. The world tells you to pick one thing, commit to one path, master one craft. But your mind was never built for one thing. It was built for everything. And that constant pull toward new ideas, that is not a disorder. That is a design. The most impactful people in history were never specialists. They were connectors. People who pulled ideas from one world and dropped them into another, and created something nobody had ever seen before. That is what you do. Every time you start something new, Every time you explore a different corner, you are not being inconsistent. You are collecting dots that one day will connect in a way only you can see. But here is the honest part. The world still runs on finished things, and you still have to live in this world. So here is what actually works. Pick one project, just one, the one that matters most right now, and protect it like it is the only thing. Everything else, every other idea, every other curiosity, let those breathe freely. No pressure to finish them, no deadline to complete them. Just spaces where your mind can stay alive and moving. Your main project gets your discipline. Everything else gets your curiosity. That balance is not a compromise. That is the smartest way a mind like yours can operate. And when you finally stop fighting how your mind works, something shifts. Your unfinished projects are not your shame. They are your history. Every single one of them is a record of a moment when you were brave enough to begin, when you believed something better was possible, when you said yes to an idea before fear could talk you out of it. That is not someone who lacks discipline. That is someone who has been carrying a measuring stick that was never meant for them. Put it down. You were never meant to be measured by what you finished. You were meant to be measured by how alive your mind stayed through all of it. And yours never stopped. If this changed how you see yourself, share it with someone who needs to hear it right now. They might still be measuring themselves wrong. Subscribe, because every week we say the things most people spend years figuring out alone.